All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. Currently, October 6th, 2025, but this is your report for October 5th, 2025. We did one earlier. We did a Crisis Report alert, kind of a larger one, but, the weekends we bleed things into each other. We had a busy one, so Saturday I was basically out of commission, so we did a bunch of videos today. Good to be back. So this is the fifth video, I guess, for this channel and all the things I do. So let's get started and do your crisis report for October 5th, 2025. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals, precious metal company that basically takes your IRA or 401k, turns it into gold and silver. They hold on to it. It's got all the bells and whistles that a depository of your precious metals would have. And then when you're ready to retire, they basically get you your precious metals that you have poured your hard-earned money into, and it's yours. And I don't know if you've seen what's going on in metals lately, but some people are choosing this. So give them a look. The link is in the description under the sponsorship area. You basically contact them. They give you a bit of a informational little sit down type thing. Doesn't take long at all. And then you say, yeah, I'm into it. Or you say, nope, not really into it. So stealth mode. Thanks for being a member, bud. All right, friends, let's get started with your crisis report. We're not going to be real long-winded on this sucker. We're just going to kind of roll on through, get it to you, and then from there, send you on your way so you know exactly what is going on. And, earlier video from PrepperNow is entitled At War, and I think you need to know that we're kind of at war in this country. So I think you're starting to see a domestic conflagration, if you will. So, all right, let's get started with your information here. This will help you. If you are unfamiliar with the crisis report, it is on Substack, preppernow.substack.com. If you put in Substack PrepperNow, it should pop right up, or Crisis Report. It's actually pretty good at getting the information out. Sends this right to your email, and then from there you can follow it along. And something you find is like a link, like, hey, look at that, there's a link. Well, you can go to the link, and it will let you check it out from there. So it's kind of a transcript. Okay, all right. Here we go. This is your crisis report for October 5th, 2025, entitled, Will Hamas Agree? Governor Newsom says President Trump is sending 300 California National Guard troops to Oregon, defying a judge's order that blocked his original Portland deployment plan. Congressman Tim Burchett has called for Netflix executives to testify before Congress to explain why their platform is promoting smut themed content aimed at young adult audiences. President Trump announced plans to bomb Venezuela, saying the strikes will target drug traffickers operating inside the country. National Black Lives Matter movement has filed a lawsuit claiming $33.4 million of its funds are being withheld by the Soros-backed Tides Foundation. A little infighting there between a couple of piece of crap organizations. President Trump has ordered 400 members of the Texas National Guard to deploy to Illinois, Oregon, and several other locations across the United States. Seems a little bit of an insurrection forming. President Trump, on his plan for peace in Gaza, says, quote, it's a great deal for Israel, and it's a great deal for everybody. It's a great deal for the entire world, Arab world, Muslim world, and the world. Trump says U.S. will start striking drug traffickers on land because after yet another strike last night on a boat off of Venezuela, they're not coming in by sea anymore. So now we'll have to start looking about the land because they'll be forced to go by land. Lithuania's main airport was shut down overnight after more than 25 weather balloons smuggling cigarettes flew into its airspace. Amazon recently acquired the rights to the James Bond franchise, has removed all the guns and sexy Bond girls from its promotional material for the franchise. Because why would you want to sell it for what it's known for? By the way, China is using AI for Hollywood movies to take out anything that has to do with homosexuality. Look it up. Georgia's prime minister accused protesters of attempting to overthrow the government and suggests the EU was influencing these actions. Vice President of the European Commission says that the EU firmly rejects and condemns the disinformation regarding the EU's role in Georgia. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he is suing Trump for sending California National Guard to Oregon. U.S. has unveiled draft design for a $1 commemorative Trump coin celebrating the 250th anniversary of independence. It's got Trump's head on the front, and it's got him doing the pump, the fight, fight, fight on the other side. Greta Thunberg is going to be deported from Israel to Greece tomorrow on a Greek-funded flight. Trump says discussions with Hamas have been positive. The technical teams will meet in Egypt on Monday to clarify the final details. Time is of the essence, or massive bloodshed will follow. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro stated that the U.S. is after Venezuelan oil, not drug trafficking. Venezuela holds the world's largest oil reserves. Americans are trying to preserve their deeply imperialistic interests and bring Hollywood stories to the big screen. So that's a far cry. I mean, the second part, the trying to go after their oil. Yeah, I can see that. Poland's deputy prime minister and minister of national defense, Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, announced Saturday that F-35A Lightning IIs with the Royal Norwegian Air Force will arrive at air bases in Poland on October 6th. F-35s will work alongside fighter jets from the Polish and Dutch Air Force to secure Poland's airspace for several weeks as part of NATO's Operation Eastern Sentry. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kabokadij publicly accused EU Ambassador to Georgia Pavel Herjashinsky of supporting an attempt to overthrow the country's constitutional order and bearing responsibility for violent unrest in Tbilisi. This statement came amid ongoing protests that turned into riots near the presidential residence, or Orbeliani Palace, and other key sites in the capital where demonstrators clashed with security forces. Kabakij framed the events as a foreign-backed coup attempt, urging the ambassador to show goodwill and clearly condemn the violence. Germany's police is set to establish specialized units and capabilities to counter unauthorized drone activities driven by a surge in sightings over critical infrastructure, airports, military sites. This includes both federal and state level initiatives with proposals for enhanced powers like shooting down drones. This morning, Russia launched a large-scale combined missile and drone attack on Ukraine, targeting multiple regions, including Kiev and other places I can't name. The assault involved Shahed drones, guided aerial bombs, or KABs, Caliber cruise missiles, Kinjal hypersonics, all launched from MiGs, with strikes continuing over several hours. The city of Zaporozhye suffered at least 10 hits from guided aerial bombs, resulting in fires, residential and industrial areas, power and water outages, 1 fatality, 6 injuries. In the Lvov area, 2 people were killed and 2 others were injured due to combined drone and cruise missile strikes. A separate drone strike on a railway station in Shotska Sumy region killed 1 person and wounded at least 30, described by President Zelensky as a savage attack. Strikes also caused widespread power outages, affecting over 73,000 people in Zaporozhye and parts of Cherkasy due to damaged infrastructure as the attacks unfolded near the Polish border. Poland and NATO scrambled fighter jets and elevated air defense systems to the highest readiness level to safeguard airspace. Lvov mayor reported incoming missile threats. All of Ukraine remained under air alert for several hours. German media also reported multiple drone sightings at military and civilian sites, raising concerns about spillover into NATO territory. Russian strikes destroyed the largest logistics center in western Ukraine, Sparrow Park, Lvov. Located in the Lvov region, the facility was used, amongst other purposes, for storing and transporting military cargo from Europe into the combat zone. The center is situated near Lvov International Airport, approximately 170 kilometers from Rzeszów in Poland, main distribution hub for foreign aid. Putin stated the delivery of Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine would undermine positive developments in relations with the United States. Tomahawk is a long-range, all-weather subsonic cruise missile primarily used by the U.S. Navy for precision land attack operations, launched from ships, submarines, or ground platforms. It flies at low altitudes to evade radar detection and can strike targets up to 1,000 miles away with high accuracy. Developed in the 1970s by Applied Physics Laboratory at Johns Hopkins University and initially manufactured by General Dynamics, it has become a cornerstone of U.S. Allied strike capabilities. Today, it is produced by Raytheon and has evolved through multiple variants to include in-flight retargeting and anti-ship roles. Presence of 30 U.S. refueling aircraft at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar is there. Nearly 1,000 people trapped on Mount Everest slopes. Rescue operations are underway. We have a little more on that. Iran might renew its nuclear weapons, but I hope it won't. If it chooses to do so, we will deal with it and won't wait long, according to Trump. Open Society Foundation, on international network created by George Soros, financed the Brazilian anti-Bolsonaro documentary Apocalypse nos Trópicos, or Apocalypse in the Tropics. 2024, the foundation allocated U.S. $150,000 to support the final stage of production. Film's distribution, the amount is equivalent to about 808,500 reals. Philanthropist has previously funded, philanthropist, air quote, funded former federal deputy John Willis studies, drug legalization initiatives through the Viva Rio movement, and over 100 other left-wing projects in Brazil. Why? Because that's what they do. They do evil, they promote evil, they buy evil. They want societies to collapse so they can go in and buy things for pennies on the dollar. Name behind the production company is Perry Production, which was responsible for securing the resources. Alessandra Arafino, she also runs the Perry Institute, established herself as a bridge between NGOs, politics, cultural, and an emphasis on agendas aligned with international progressivism, which is also called progressive fascism, because it is. True fascists project what they do onto others, deeming them evil, when in fact it is them themselves that are doing the evil. So, speaking of which, while cartels continue to rule entire areas of her country, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum and her Morena party have presented a new anti-meme law, Mexican Congress. If passed, it will make it possible to imprison a person for up to 6 years for posting memes, GIFs, or videos online that humiliate politicians and officials. The law was made by Morena Representative Armando Corona Arbizu. In his proposed amendment to Article 211, bis 8, he specified that anyone who uses the image, voice, or identity of a natural person without consent could also be punished for memes whose purpose is to ridicule, harass, impersonate, damage their reputation or dignity, could face up to 6 years in jail or more if affected as a public servant or a politician. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the era of neoconservatism as state policy is over. The era of reckless adventurism around the globe is over. We are not interested in endless, unclear missions. Hear, hear, man. Your lips to God's ears, please. Pete Hegseth says he has full authorization for recent U.S. military strikes on boats near Venezuela, allegedly carrying drugs, citing terrorism and self-defense laws. The U.S. is telling allies that Cuba is backing Russia's invasion of Ukraine by sending up to 5,000 Cuban fighters fight alongside Moscow's forces. Citing this, the Trump administration is urging countries to vote against a UN resolution calling for an end to the U.S. embargo on Cuba. Nearly 1,000 people are trapped on Mount Everest's Tibetan slopes after a sudden snowstorm. Around 350 have been rescued. Efforts ongoing amid heavy snow and hypothermia risks. Access roads are blocked, and entry to the Everest Scenic Area is suspended. Hamas has agreed to disarm. Hamas will hand over their weapons to an Egyptian-Palestinian body that is under international supervision, Saudi outlet Al Arabiya has reported. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said Sunday that President Trump will deploy 400 members of the Texas National Guard to Illinois, Oregon, and other locations. U.S. cattle inventory has reached the lowest level since 1951, driven primarily by prolonged droughts, high feed costs, herd liquidation by producers, resulting in a reduced supply of beef that has pushed prices to record highs amid steady consumer demand. And U.S. Representative Thomas Massie says he believes that the government is shut down to avoid vote on releasing the Epstein files, claiming he has 218 votes to force it. I don't know, maybe. Maybe not. Stealth Mode and Howard Clegg, thanks for becoming members. Speaking of which, if you want to become a member, it's a couple bucks a month. We appreciate it. Helps keeps the light on, the intel flowing and all that. And yeah. Yes, George Orwell and Ayn Rand were pretty freaking spot on. So yeah, that is your world right now. And well, a lot going on. So hopefully you're prepared. And we'll keep bringing the intel. We'll have a crisis report alert tomorrow. We'll have more intel tomorrow night. More videos. Go check out PrepperNow. Please check out our sponsorship groups with OUPES and ITEHIL and Augusta Precious Metals and JASE and more. Prepper Nerd, all in the links description. We have some great partners that do good work. So hit the like button if you like being here. I'd say subscribe, but if you're here, you're already subscribed. They won't put this out into the general population because I'm too correct. But we'll keep it going regardless, friends. Okay? God bless you all, and we will see you on the next one.